Hello, friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes the People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. This is this week's midweek music ear candy, which is always subscriber based. Subscribers send me tracks they want me to check out, and I do so. I write down a few notes and I put it down. Normally, it's just one track. But this week we're doing something special. My co-host from the Cylon Johns, my very good friend Johnny Be Crazy. A few weeks ago, I was doing a playlist of R&B music, and he was kind enough to send me some stuff that he really likes because he's far more familiar with that genre than I am. And some of it made it on the playlist, some of it did not. But this is a great playlist in and of itself. So this week we aren't just sharing one track, we're sharing a whole playlist. Now that'll be popping up at the very end. You'll be able to drop down in the description and check the music out. But first we're going to talk a little bit about it. So, with no further ado, Johnny Be Jammin'. First track is by an artist called Genuine, and this is Pony. Oh my gosh, the beats here just explode. They're awesome. The beats and the samples are just great. And the video is great. It just shows people having a good time. It's really cool because it shows people from two diverse cultures coming together and just having a great time and enjoying themselves. Johnny was kind enough when he put this playlist together to include the videos for all of these tracks, so definitely worth checking out. It's just awesome. And oh, you got a girl riding on a mechanical bull. I there's a certain part of me that just has a little soft spot. This was produced by Timberland, which I'll get into in just a little bit because Timberland I have found a whole new level of respect for, and I'll be talking about that in a moment. The second track is This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan. Now, this is a track that I actually am familiar with and I had heard before. Always liked. It's a great party song, and there's this great line. All the gangbangers forgot about the drive-by. Like it's just about having fun. But the one thing they bring up these dollar bills, like what is it about dollar bills and like post 1980s R&B music? People are always talking about throwing around money. But it's a freaking awesome track. And yes, I know what it's about. I'm just trying to be funny. Um, yeah, this was on Def Jam, which means that it was at least co-produced or engineered by Rick Rubin, who I think is one of the greatest music producers of all time. And I know there is a really sweet house remix of this out there. If anybody knows who did that and where I can find it, if you could be kind enough to let me know, you'll get a smooch. Honestly, I know it's out there. I've heard it like once or twice, but I do not know who did it. I could not find it. If anybody knows, let me know, please. Next, we got Soul for Real doing Candy Rain. Now, the first thing that came to mind for me with this track, the main vocalist, and this is a quartet, they all do vocals, but the main vocalist, that whole juvenile, younger person doing these vocals, it totally reminded me of Little Mikey, Michael Jackson, if you don't know who I'm talking about. Um, and the harmonizing going on here is just insane. There's so much amazing harmonization in latter era R&B. I mean early era R&B too, but just the harmonization is just unbelievable. This track has a loop that it uses that I just think is sick. It's got this really nice, it's just a really nice beat that just sucks you in, and I think that's great. More than anything, it reminds me of early Smokey Robinson. And there's a cameo by the one and only Heavy D on here, which, I mean, that's just freaking awesome in and of itself, right? Gotta love some Heavy D. Then we have a few tracks from the same artist. This is Alaya. So I'll talk about the tracks, then I'll talk about her as an artist. First, we have One in a Million. The programming on this track is awesome. I love the beat. It's just a really soft, sweet type of intense thing that just pulls you in a very soft manner, in a very I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it you just feel it, and I think that's great. Then we've got Hot Like Fire, um, also by her. Her vocals are amazing. This woman had an amazing voice. Unfortunately, she passed away. She died in a plane crash. So, God rest. I'm gonna go ahead and make my joke here because this track is featuring R. Kelly, and we were just talking about Candy Rain before, and I'm gonna just leave the joke there because probably shouldn't take it any further, but I'm sure most of you know exactly why I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, it's a great track. Once again, the loop, and this is where I'm going to talk about this. Timbaland, I am putting him in the same category as Phil Spector and Trent Reznor and Rick Rubin. He is an amazing producer. The RZA, like I really think he's on that level. And when you have a producer who can take an artist and say, "Hey, you're great at this, but here's how we're going to make it better," and yeah, Timbaland, I want to check out so much more of his work. If anybody has anything to share with me, drop it in the comment section down below because really, it's just some great stuff. And then the final track by her is Hot Like Fire, which is another Timbaland mix. And of this entire playlist, it's my favorite by far. I do have to ask though, once again, it's kind of like along the line with the dollar bills. What is it about singing about California all the time? Um, it's like a lot of these R&B artists could be in a hair metal band because tonight, woman, rocking down on the boulevard, California. I don't know. Sorry, little sidetrack thought, but it yes, the programmer and engineer like Timbaland just did some great stuff, and it uses a looped sample from a Suzanne Vega track that's done by somebody else. Which, if you're not familiar with the track, it's called Tom's Diner. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome song. Anything by Suzanne Vega is pretty much awesome, but it's brought into this in an entirely different context, and it's really, really cool. Next, we have a couple tracks from Boys to Men that Johnny shared with me. Now, I have to admit, this is a band I am familiar with. I had heard. And these are two relatively popular tracks that a lot of people have probably heard. First, we've got I'll Make Love to You. Now, one thing I have to say about this track, I love the original. I think it's great. But I have always wanted to hear a country cover of this. For some reason, I think this is a great song that would, yeah, I mean, it's just such a sweet love song, and I think it would convert really well to that genre also. But that's, I, anyone who's followed my channel knows how much I love covers. And I love covers because they take a piece of work that was good in the first place and do something entirely different with it that's good now. And I've just always wanted to hear that, and I think that's great. But oh my gosh, the harmonization of these guys is just, it's so sick. And it's so intense. Now, I do have to say, this video is trope, but you know what? You know why tropes happen? Because they're cool things. They're big things that people like, and you know oh, it's just such a great song. But yeah, I mean, you know, the guy's doing his. It, just watch and listen. It's such a good song. The clothes are very dated, much like hair metal. But you gotta love it. You know, that's the thing. I the reason I bring it up is because I love cross genre work, because that's what this channel is all about. Music makes people come together. And please, if you have any music to share with me, drop it in the comment section down below, because I share music with you, you share music with me, and we are going to share music with each other. Please share it. The other Boys to Men track is On Bended Knee. Now, at the beginning, you have this whole scene, and this is probably why I don't date, because it's a little too much work, and people get upset with each other, and I just, I just sit here with my books. Sorry, but it's such a pining, emotional song, and I can't make fun of them because I love pining emotional songs. I'm not a pining emotional person, but I love pining emotional songs, no matter what genre it is. And but if you watch the video, it to me it's a little bit disturbing, because it shows this person who's jealous of their lover's commitment to their art, and basically says, like, you got to pick between your work and me. And so I have some issues with that, but it's a great song. And but think about it from that perspective when you watch this video. I think, I don't know. That was my initial take when I watched it. Next, we're moving to a couple tracks by Brian McKnight. First, we have Anytime. Oh my gosh, this guy, his use of the piano is just amazing. I don't know if I know he's a producer himself, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he does his own piano work or if he has a pianist, but the piano works great, and I love how it's looped. The lyrical progression in the song is amazing. And oh my gosh, his range. Like, we're talking Freddie Mercury range. This is unbelievable. We're talking at least 4 octaves are going on here. It's insane. And just so spot on. And this track honestly reminds me of One Day by the New Revolutionaries. If you've ever heard that track, I think you'll see the correlation. If you've never heard that track, listen to it. Listen to this track. And I think you'll see the correlation and the correspondence. And, just great stuff. Johnny, thank you so much for sharing this playlist with me. We've got a few more to cover. Another Brian McKnight song. Back at One. Once again, the piano. And this video is freaking awesome. I'm not going to give any spoilers. Just watch it. Just watch the video. But the lyrical progression, the way it's written, the style in which the lyrics are written up, it really blew my mind. It made me think of, that's what music is. It's poetry. It's poetry set to a musical background. And that's what your good stuff that's coming out is. And the poetic lyrical build of this is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Finally, the last artist Johnny shared with me. Now, these are 2 tracks I'm really familiar with because it's one of my favorite artists. And that's Stevie Wonder. I love me some Stevie. But, the whole thing was putting together a playlist of R&B that came out after 1980. So Johnny sent me some of his newer stuff, newer to me anyway. And these are two tracks that I think everybody knows. One is Superstition. I mean, oh, it's just so good. Everybody knows this track. And it's just the jam to it. The doom 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 doom. It the beat's just sick. It's great. It's got this progressive pulse. If you've never heard this before, what rock have you been hiding under? Because this is a great track. But I hope you enjoy it. And the other is, of course, his classic from 1982, I believe. I Just Called to Say I Love You. It makes me reminisce. I remember listening to this song. It would be on the speakers on the like track thing that they had at the swimming pool when I was a kid. And uh, I mean, it's one of the best songs of all time. It's great. I do have to say though, at the end they do this synthesizer progression thing, and the robot voice like really kind of creeps me out now as an adult. Like I know it was like kind of cool then, but now that we have technology developing so rapidly, it kind of creeped me out. But yeah, great track, great playlist. Johnny, thank you so much for sending this to me. Thank you so much for sharing your music with me. It means the world to me, just like you do. I mean, that's why we, sit and have a channel and talk about robots. So I'm going to let you all enjoy the music. If you want to check it out, it's going to be right there in the description down below. Please do so because this is a great playlist. And midweek music here handy is usually just one track. You got yourselves a whole playlist. You got an hour of music right here. So enjoy that. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We will have this week's teaser up here tomorrow. And in the meantime, if you would be so kind, POUR, be excellent to one another, and party on.